Hello again. This is the City Council update for September 21st, 2009. I did not attend the Committee of the Whole today. I was actually up in the Twin Cities attending the State Complete Streets Advisory Board wrap-up meeting. I thank very much Mitzi Baker for coming up there, and probably sometimes the smartest thing you can do is just when it's your time to speak, hand it over to the person who understands the issues a lot better than you, and it makes you look. I very much appreciate Mitzi taking the time to go up there, and I think we had a real positive meeting, and I think some of what we're doing in Rochester is going to, be spread out statewide through this process, and I appreciate that. A lot of things happened at the City Council meeting tonight. As always, I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes, and I'm going to focus on some of the key ones. 5 issues that I want to talk to you about. First of all, is we did approve the special law for 1% lodging tax and 1% food and beverage tax for the potential MCC project. Secondly, we're going to talk about community development block grant programs. Third of all, we're going to talk about some traffic calming up in the Villa Chateau sprawl nightmare area. Fourth, we're going to talk about the Metro Plains development. And fifth, we're going to talk about that water tower that I told you I had tabled at the last meeting. I pulled from the consent agenda the resolution to approve the special law simply because this was something that was determined before I was on the council, and I grudgingly support this. We're basically to pay for our portion of the Mayo Civic Center renovation and expansion. We will have a 1% lodging tax and a 1% food and beverage. I don't like the way that is. The lodging tax, I understand. The lodging industry tends to benefit from this when conventions come in. And also food and beverage in the core of the city, I understand how they're going to benefit from this as well. My problem is some of these neighborhood places, they're out on the edges of the city. I don't really see how they're going to benefit from it. But one thing I will say is when this project is complete, I expect that we're going to see no longer having annual deficits out at the Mayo Civic Center like we do now, and I mean a little bit of that is accounting, but we expect not to be subsidizing this building after it's done, and that's the standard that I'm going to hold the Civic Center to. So I guess from that standpoint, everyone benefits a little bit if we're not subsidizing that function. Second thing, we had our public hearing for community development block grants. I sat down and did a preliminary look at this about a week ago, and it's a sad thing when you see how much need there is in the community and how many wonderful nonprofits have had their funding cut from other sources, and they're looking to help us or looking for help from us. What's really sad about this is that in terms of what we had to allocate, we have to basically cut 75% of it out, and that means there's a lot of good programs that aren't going to get funding or aren't going to get the amount of funding that they were looking for, and that's really too bad. I mean, we have to prioritize, and quite frankly, my priorities are going to be safe neighborhoods and things to help children in need. These were I try and be pretty clear about what my priorities are, and in this particular case, there's a lot of good programs that might not necessarily be funded, but I think in this particular case, all you can do is try and prioritize and realize that there's a lot of need out there that's just not being funded right now. We will actually come together and with some recommendations, and probably in 2 weeks or so, our final decisions will come out. With regards to the Villa Chateau area, this is the area north of the North Walmart Sam's Club area. It was some boneheaded planners, probably with the, probably the township at the time, but I don't really care who it was. I don't care if it was city or county or township. And I shouldn't say planners because I'm sure it was politicians that came up with this. Decided it would be a good idea to put a big old suburban sprawl subdivision in what was likely to become part of the city of Rochester. And they did it, and now we're all paying the prices for it. We had poorly designed infrastructure out there didn't accommodate for future growth, and now we have some growing pains out there. We have a lot of people have to walk on a pretty unsafe road to get to where they need to get to go, and we also have drivers that speed through there because it's a convenient shortcut for them. And it was we were approached with the fact that there were serious concerns about the speeding in the neighborhood, and they're right, there are serious speeding concerns, but there's also serious pedestrian concerns. And what the City Council decided to do tonight is if we're going to address one, we need to address them both, and no one was going to be happy with our decision no matter what. I mean, the neighbors to the north, they didn't want speed bumps, and the people that lived in the area, they didn't want to have to give up any right-of-way or easement or have a bike trail coming through there, or I should say a pedestrian trail, something to get the pedestrians off the narrow road as it is right now. It's a difficult situation. We were set up to fail by some people without much foresight in the past, and I just hope that we stop doing these kind of boneheaded things like we are doing now. Net result is I think we came out of there. Absolutely everybody is disgusted with us, and that's that means we're spreading the pain equally. But these two projects are tied together. If we're going to do speed bumps, we're going to do a pedestrian trail along with it. I think both are needed. The reality is I don't like speed bumps. I would never pay a public penny for a speed bump because I don't think I don't think they're worthwhile. But in this particular case, it's a little bit of a trade-off in order to get the pedestrian trails, and we're going to see where this goes. But there is an identified need for something for a safe way for pedestrians to get by out there. There was just yet another pedestrian tragedy up in the Twin Cities, basically the same kind of thing where pedestrians were forced to walk out on a narrow country road in the middle of what had become the middle of the cities, and a kid was hit and killed, and that's what we're looking to avoid. That's the most important thing, I think, as far as this goes. I'd say the next thing on the list is the Metro Plains development. This is the Cascade Creek redevelopment, which you've heard me talk about a number of times. We worked hard for them tonight. We were trying to make sure we could come up with a way to be sure that they could get as many points as possible to try and help this project go off. Now, it was a couple of things that were brought up. Terry Spade from city staff brought up that we don't give resolutions of support because we don't want to favor one developer over the other. And that's why I have to say, whoa, hold on a second. I think it's about time that we start rewarding good development. This is a very good development. We have seen very poor development come through, and the community has suffered as a result of that. And I think that anything we could do to help Metro Plains get this project off the ground, and also helps First Homes recover some of their tied-up assets as well, because they have $1 million sunk into this land. The sooner they can sell it off, the sooner they're not paying interest on $1 million on this. So it's going to be a wonderful project. One relocated house, 40 affordable housing units, 6 beautiful market rate townhomes, LEED certified development, 2,000 feet of commercial, and a daycare on the site of what was basically 11 blighted homes. This is a tremendous win for the community, and this is what we need to be doing more and more. And unlike the suburban sprawl at the edges of our community, we're not going to have to build any new roads, any new sewer lines, any new water lines, and this is the way that we should be doing development, and we should do everything we can to reward quality development. And I hope to that end that we did this. We'll actually finalize it tomorrow. We actually continued the meeting till tomorrow. We'll finalize a couple of things that we left open for today. Last item, I had the last meeting on the next water tower. There was I sensed a little bit of a build it because we have the money mentality, whether or not it's necessary. I had my questions sufficiently answered. I think that the reality is when everything was considered, the bidding climate was such that we were maybe saving $750,000 over what we might be paying in the future, and we will need it eventually. My issue is more, do we need it now or do we need it 5 years from now? And RPU, the people that are in the know, they say we absolutely need it now. I did bring up, well, what about this conservation pricing that we're doing that's supposed to reduce our water usage? There certainly hasn't been factored into the modeling. And I also brought up, well, if we're just worried about peak times, why don't we just do things like irrigation watering bans or something? And that has had to happen in the past, but this is something the community will need. Council President Hansen correctly brought up too. It's it's a short-term boost to jobs in the community, and there's certainly a need for that right now, particularly in some of the trades that are looking for work. So I think that would be that's a real positive. Other than that, I thank everyone who stuck with us at the meeting. Thanks for watching my update. Again, if you're looking for some entertainment, we'll be finishing up our meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock just to finalize a couple of items. And the rest of the week I'm going to be traveling, doing a bunch of miscellaneous things actually for the city. So thanks for your attention. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, always feel free to contact me at votewojak@gmail.com or at my website, votewojak.org. Thanks a lot.